Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming Jim Zimmerman, First Vice President at Capitol Federal and Chair of the Junior Achievement of Kansas Board of Directors.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We are proud to continue this great tradition and present the Business Hall of Fame class of 2018. Tonight, we honor 5 individuals who epitomize the business and community-minded principles the Junior Achievement Program instills in our youth. My colleagues and I on the Junior Achievement of Kansas Board of Directors are proud to be involved with an organization that inspires and prepares our children to succeed. I invite my fellow board members to stand and be recognized for their dedication to this organization. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize a few elected officials that are here with us tonight. State Board of Education member Ann Ma, State Representatives Brenda Dietrich and Jim Gartner, and Mayor Michelle De La Isla. It's been another exciting year here at Junior Achievement, one full of change and innovation. To tell you more, here's Junior Achievement of Kansas President, Ashley Charest.
Wow, might I say, you are a good-looking group of people tonight, right? So tonight marks my 59th day at Junior Achievement. That's a good way to end my 59th day, right? So Junior Achievement's mission is to inspire and prepare young people to succeed in a global economy. So to mark my 59 days, I'm going to tell you my personal top 5 super cool, amazing things about Junior Achievement. So the first one is volunteers. Did you know that last year we had 1,015 volunteers in the state of Kansas to cover teaching kids in our classrooms? In fact, you probably have one sitting at your table right now. Please raise your hand if you have volunteered in your Junior Achievement classroom. Junior Achievement of Kansas is number 4 out of 109 Junior Achievement areas for retaining our volunteers. So that's so important when you consider just how many we use each year. Now, these people are the backbone of our program, because without them, we could not teach kindergartners about piggy banks and savings. We couldn't teach 3rd graders about why it's important to have retail, government, industrial parks in our cities, or even those really, really special volunteers who are fluent in sarcasm and teach our middle schools. So if you have any of those volunteers at your table, will you please make sure that their wine glass is full for the entire remainder of the evening? They deserve it, right? Number 2 is entrepreneurship. So tonight, we're here to honor entrepreneurs. Did you know that that's one of JA's 3 pillars? We bring kids in contact every year with people just like these 5 individuals. We teach them about how they did it, why they did it, and be inspired not only by their successes, but also by their failures. Last year, we hosted Entrepreneur Day at Jardine Middle School. And this year, we're going to be celebrating Global Entrepreneur Week, which is November 12th through the 18th, with a week's worth of activities celebrating entrepreneurs in our community, those brave individuals who march out with their own money, make a go of it with something that they're passionate about. So if you're interested in helping us with that event, let us know. Number 3, our alumni. Junior Achievement alumni are everywhere. You know Mark Cuban, who owns the Mavericks. He's also the cocky investor on Shark Tank. Well, he's a JA kid from New Jersey. A recent survey of Junior Achievement alumni show that Junior Achievement students are 143% more likely to be entrepreneurs. They earn 20% more than other workers. And our survey also showed that 1 in 3 Junior Achievement alumni say they chose their career because of what they learned in Junior Achievement. and 1 in 5 of them end up entering the same career as their JA volunteer. You have a workforce shortage? Then you need to get your current employees into the classroom to start teaching these elementary kids and get us to make them be our next round of bankers, doctors, lawyers, construction workers, etc. Thank you. So my number 4 is staff. Now I've been throwing out some crazy numbers at you, but I want to throw a couple more. So let me tell you about our staff. Right now we have staff that serve 3 districts and represent all but 4 counties in the entire state of Kansas while fundraising, setting up programming, filling out grants, doing marketing, event planning. So can you guess how many staff we have? Would you think 20 or 40? Oh no, we have 8 individuals who make it their mission each and every day to support junior achievement in our state. They're not all here tonight, but I do want to make sure to recognize 3 of our staff in the audience, Tammy Castine, Sarah Edelman, and Debbie Harmon. So my number 5 is students. I saved the best for last. In our last fiscal year, we served 28,094 students, and I'm happy to report that we're on target to serve even more in this current fiscal year. Tonight, we're lucky enough to have 5 junior achievement students in the room from our elementary, middle, and high school programs. You'll get to see them in action a little bit later, but they're the reason my first 59 days have been so invigorating and exciting. So, to our honored laureates, please allow me to extend a personal congratulations on behalf of Junior Achievement of Kansas. You honor us by what you do each and every day in our community. Thank you.
Now please welcome to the stage Dean David Sollers of Washburn University's School of Business and Stephanie Luke of Mize Hauser, the 2018 Topeka Business Hall of Fame co-chairs.
Business Hall of Fame Laureate is a distinction reserved for our best and brightest business people who have demonstrated excellence in business, leadership, and understanding of the importance of community, and who give back to the place they call home.
To learn more, you can visit the kansasja.org online or visit the Permanent Hall of Fame display in Henderson Hall at Washburn University.
The work of junior achievement and tonight's program would not be possible without our underwriting sponsors. Our Spirit of Achievement sponsors are Clayton Wealth Partners, Susan and Kent Garlinghouse, Schendel Lawn and Landscape, the Washburn University Foundation and Alumni Association. Our laureate sponsors are Capital Federal, Mark and Sandy Ruel.
Our chairman sponsors are Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas, KSNT, MB Pilon Advertising and Marketing, McPherson Contractors, Mize Hauser and Company, Parish Hotels, Security Benefit, Stormont Vale, the Topeka Capital Journal, and Westar Energy.
Yes, thank you.
In addition, we have support from the community via in-kind sponsorships, and we would like to thank them publicly. The magazine, and you have them at your table tonight, TK Magazine. The videos provided by Berkeley Square and Telex Media. Sound and lighting comes from SciTech Media Systems. The flowers come from University Flowers. The music, Keith Mallory and Friends. The photography, Keith Hornick and Ann Palmer Photography. Our hospitality sponsors are Ash Boutique and Ethan and Anna's Children Boutique and Golden Tuxedo.
Junior Achievement cannot help kids succeed without your support. Here's a video of the impact Junior Achievement can have on one person's life.
When I was growing up in Chicago projects, I thought I only had two destinies. It was either go to jail or die. Outside of school, life was very challenging as a young guy. My older brothers, they were there, but some of them were in gangs. I found out later on that I was actually transporting drugs for my family, or I was a distraction to the police. At the age of 8, I was on the 3rd floor of the porch, and I was like just fooling around, and you know what, I just don't want to do this anymore. And so I just jumped off the 3rd floor balcony, and luckily I did not get hurt. Every time I wanted to kill myself, it never happened because I had no destiny. In the 3rd grade, the junior achievement guy just came from nowhere magically, like an angel. I remember him saying, "You were born to change the world." The junior achievement rep encouraged me to take on the newspaper route. By the 9th grade, I recall having about $7,000 saved up in the bank. Surprisingly, when I was in the 11th grade, I ran into him on the train, and I said, "I remember you from somewhere." He said, "Yeah, I remember you too." And I said, "Oh, are you the junior achievement guy?" He said, "Yes." And he said, "So what are you going to do when you grow up?" I remember I said, "I like numbers, and I want to get into business." He said, "Oh, I got a perfect school for you." He introduced me to this wonderful exclusive school. So at this school, there was a competition for an award called Mr. Business. And luckily, I won. I received a full scholarship at DePaul. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi, I'm Malachi Carnum with Commerce Bank. I'm here to teach your class today. If I ever run into this junior achievement mentor again, the first thing I would do is just go up to him, say, "If it had not been for you, I would not be here." Yeah, I don't even remember his name. I'm accepting the challenge to give back to the community, to go into the classroom and just help the kids. Because if they don't get help from us, who else is they going to lean on?
To help us continue this valuable programming in our Topeka schools, please fill out a donation card and hand it to a JA staff member or our junior achievement students. We'd also like to remind you that as you leave, make sure you take home the latest copy of TK Magazine, which was placed on each seat, featuring tonight's laureates. The magazine has not been seen by anyone else yet, so you're getting a sneak peek.
And now we would like to turn tonight's program over to our talented MCs from KSNT News, Matt and Brooke.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, good evening. I am Matt Miller. You've been hearing my voice. I've been talking. I always tell Brooke she somehow stays quiet through the first part of this, which is an amazing feat for her. But we are from KSNT News. We get along really well. And just one other thing. Lola's not with me. I get asked that everywhere I go now. So my weather dog doesn't usually come to these events. Brooke, though, as you guys would have loved to have seen this. The lights are kind of bright in the back, so you couldn't have seen back behind it. We have these microphones on our face
Oh,
this
yeah.
time.
Look at this. Isn't this fun?
Brooke was back
We've
there doing a
never had
Britney
these
Spears,
before.
"Oops, I did it again" in the back. It was a pretty impressive thing to see there. Well, we are happy to be the Emcees for this year's event for the Topeka Business Hall of Fame. The laureates this year were chosen by an independent selection committee for their business acumen, their leadership skills, the commitment to the community, and enduring legacy. And we appreciate the committee's role in choosing this year's inductees. They've done a great job in who they've chosen.
Absolutely. Let's give them a round of applause. Well, we are in for a very fun night. I hope all of you saw the mints on your table. They're the little yellow ones. Matt already had about 3 of them.
Turns out they taste like butter,
Yeah.
but they're good.
He probably needs to slow down on those. But tonight we do have junior achievement students to help us introduce our laureates. And we appreciate these students and their families coming here tonight to help us honor these business leaders.
That's right. I'm going to start with our first one. We'd like to welcome to the stage Brent Lidke. Brent is a 7th grader at Shawnee Heights Middle School. Brent, you look great. You look stunning out here this evening. We're glad to have you with us.
Thanks. I went to Ash Boutique and Ashley dressed me like I was going to the Academy Awards. It was fun to go to her store. You know she's an entrepreneur.
She is. And also, if you stay dressed like this, the Academy Awards aren't that far off, so you can maybe make it still. But she is a great entrepreneur, just like our first laureate is as well, that we're honoring, Brent Boles.
Yes, Mr. Boles taught in my class. We learned he is an entrepreneur in both the landscaping and pizza business. He is a funny guy and knows a lot about running a business and how to make it succeed.
I bet he does know that very well. Now, did he talk you into running your own business?
No, but only because I want to be a pediatrician and go to Washburn University.
Wow. Very good. Very good ambition there. Interesting thing, couple things. First of all, I teach over at Washburn, so you can take my class, and I can give you some of the work ahead of time, so you can come into class with a good grade. But also, I don't know if you know this, but Mr. Boles is on the Washburn University Board of Regents, which, by the way, I should probably say, I actually don't break the rules like that now that we've got a Board of Regents member here. I would do it the right and legal way, but he is on the Board of Regents. Did you know that?
He is. I think I need to talk to him about a letter of recommendation tonight.
That would be a good idea. We'll get that in the works right away. That is a wise idea. But let's turn our attention over to the video and learn a little bit more about Mr. Brent Boles.
Well, the interesting thing about Brent is that he's not only run one successful business, he's ran several successful businesses. So it's almost like whatever Brent touches turns to gold. You go back to Schendel Pest, he obviously took over a family business and built it into something pretty incredible, and then sold that business and moved on and has taken Schendel on in landscape and grown it by leaps and bounds. And then he's a serial entrepreneur, and he's now into Spin Pizza and other ventures. And I really just have Brent picked as one of those folks that knows how to run a business, knows how to be an entrepreneur, knows how to be a startup, but also knows how to sustain a very successful business for the long run.
We were fortunate enough to have an opportunity to work with Brent at his residence and then at his business when he relocated the Schendel Pest headquarters in Topeka. He had proposed the idea of if we would ever be interested in partnering up with a pest control company. It was an idea we'd never thought about, which again kind of shows his forethought and leadership and just ingenuity.
It's the best decision that I've ever made from a business standpoint, and there's a lot of reasons behind that.
We knew how to do the day-to-day operations. We knew how to go out and fertilize and weed control and pull weeds and all that good stuff. But Brent has really helped us out and taken us to the next level as far as marketing, brand recognition, our focus on customer service.
He's been instrumental in bringing our business from where we were in 2011 to where we are now. We've more than quadrupled in size in that time span.
He's there to help everybody. His leadership is unparalleled. We now know a lot more about our business. We can see our business better. We can plan better on where we're heading in the future, and a lot of that has been at his leadership.
He has a true passion for customer service for both the external customers, but also the internal customers, his employees. He wants to create an atmosphere where people are excited to come to work, feel accepted and comfortable. He wants them to have the best opportunity to provide for their families.
He listens to people. He cares about people, constantly looking to how he can add value to individuals. We had a team that was very engaged, that cared about each other, but also cared about our customers and the customers we served.
So I met Brent in 2014 when I was still in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I don't know what it was, but when I met Brent, I could just tell that he had a passion for the successful trajectory of Topeka and Shawnee County. So my first interaction with Brent was what attracted me to come to Topeka. He was part of the transformation of the Greater Topeka Chamber of Commerce. He was the chair of that organization in 2016. Quite frankly, he was laying the groundwork for what is now the Greater Topeka Partnership. And without his vision and without him laying the foundation for some of those, I don't think we would be where we are today.
He's served on the Washburn Board of Regents.
Support organizations like Trash Mountain Project here in Topeka.
Vision Bank Board. Very passionate about like the Crime Stoppers and supporting public servants. His father was a firefighter in Topeka, so, that's all very close to his heart.
Yeah, just that servant heart, just always looking at opportunities to where he can make an impact for improvement or make things better.
He wants to see this city succeed and thrive and grow, and really has a great vision for how that can happen, and truly believes the growth of downtown Topeka is a key part of that.
Brent does have a really strong family support system. First of all, just his wife, Angie. I mean, she's incredible, and she's part of the business too. On many occasions, I can see Angie taking off to go work a shift at Spin Pizza, and she's definitely an incredible support system for him, and really his partner in business.
They're very strong in their faith. They're very strong in their church, which is always helpful.
A very close family, very close group of friends, and a lot of people that I think he can trust and that also trust him and support him.
Brent is very active in regards to hobbies, especially with playing golf. And then also he's a very avid cyclist, to where he can jump on a bike and roll for a lot of miles.
He likes his wine. He enjoys drinking wine and trying new wine. And I know he's a sports fan. He's a KU fan. He's a Washburn fan.
He used to do triathlons, active in the Tin Man triathlons every year. So yeah, certainly I think he's got that balance, work-life balance.
He's a real person. He's genuine, and no matter whether he's in front of 700 people at a chamber event, or it's just you and him, you're going to get that same person.
I look at him as a mentor, a coach. Probably more than anything, he understands who I am as a person, as a friend. He really excels just because his heart is really in the right place.
I'm honored to be associated with a person of Brent's character and reputation within the community. He is a great business leader, but he's a better person.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage Mr. Brent Boles.
Thank you. Thank you, Brent, and good choice on Washburn. Maybe your dad will let me take credit for that. I don't know. So, to my fellow laureates and their families, congratulations. It's an honor to share the stage with you tonight. To all the past laureates, many in this audience tonight, thank you for everything you've done in our community. Thanks for making nights like this possible. But I don't think tonight is just about individual recognition. I also believe that tonight is about shining a light on the incredible work that Junior Achievement does in our community. Junior Achievement of Kansas is dedicated to helping young people gain the skill and knowledge they need to own their own economic success, plan for the future, and make smart academic and economic choices. I think that's important. My challenge to you is consider giving of your time, volunteering in the classroom, and/or of your money, writing the check. So, I want to start, and as I thought about what I'm going to talk about tonight, I reflected over the last 25 years, and one thing became very clear to me. I was never the smartest guy in the room, or the tallest. But I always had incredible people around me, and tonight that's what I want to do, is recognize a few of those in the few minutes I have. One of my favorite quotes is by Henry David Thoreau, and he talks about if you're going to build castles in the sky, your work need not be lost. That's where they should be. Just put the foundation under them. For me, the castles in the sky were always my dreams, my ideas, my goals. And the foundation were all the people around me that made it happen. So tonight, let me start with my family, my wife. So when you're 16 years old and you walk into a restaurant called Brewski's, I wondered if you guys would get that. You don't expect to meet your future wife, best friend, and business partner. But for Angie and I, that's what happened. We'd date through high school, take a 7-year sabbatical during college and later, and we both ended up on the West Coast. And we realized that the dreams and goals we had as kids were kind of the same. Angie, I would not be up here tonight without you. Thank you. So Angie and I have 2 beautiful daughters, Cassidy and Madeline, both God-fearing women who are making a difference in this world tonight, and we could not be more proud of them. Thank you, girls. So my parents divorced when I was very young, but both of them were very influential in my life. My father, who's no longer with us, was a retired firefighter here in town, also a cattle rancher. And my sister used to describe him as a cross between John Wayne and Archie Bunker. Okay, so you guys remember, good. So if you could imagine that humble cowboy with this dose of compassion, my dad's influence is still with me today. My mother, who started her own business when she was a struggling single mom when my sister and I were very young. 40 years later, she would retire at the highest pinnacle of Mary Kay Cosmetics. My mother, Jessie Logan, taught us three basic but very important life principles. Number one, and this sounds cliche, but it's the power of positive thinking. Trust me when I believe in our house we had no choice, okay? Number two, the golden rule, and some version of it, but treat others the way you want to be treated both professionally and personally. And number three, the power of setting goals. She had us setting goals when we were 8 and 10 years old. Now, we later found out that they were kind of self-serving because they really helped her reach her goals. So it was free child labor, but nevertheless, that process taught my sister and I a very important lesson in life, and we still both use it today personally and professionally. My father-in-law, Paul Mages, who was also my business partner, recruited me to come back to work at Schendel when I was 28 years old, thought I knew more than I did, and thought I was smarter than I was. Paul and I began working together, and within a few years, I would buy out one of his business partners, and we would begin growing Schendel, along with many of the coworkers here tonight, into one of the largest privately held pest control companies in the country. And we did it all watching the ultimate display of servant leadership through Paul. He was caring, he was humble, and I owe everything to Paul. Thank you. I mentioned coworkers from Schendel, many here tonight, and I wish I could talk about all of you, but I do need to recognize one who has been with literally Angie and I for over 20 years. She began babysitting our kids when she was a student at Washburn University. Julie Johnson graduated, and upon graduation, I said, "What are you going to do?" And she said, "I don't know." And I said, "Well, come to work for us." And we were a small company at the time. She said, "Well, what will I do?" I said, "I don't know. We'll figure it out." And she began working in the marketing department, ultimately became the director of marketing and was part of our senior management team. Julie is still with me today. And Julie, let me just be clear. Everything that I do, Julie does for me and better. She is my friend, she's my confidant, and she's my advisor. Thank you, Julie. So over the last 10 years, I've got involved in many different business opportunities. And as a result, I've had many different business partners that I have today. Entrepreneur Magazine talked about how to select a business partner. They had three criteria. Number one, someone that you respect. Number two, someone smarter than you. Makes sense. Number three, someone of great character. All the business partners that I'm involved with today meet that criteria. The two that I work with day in and day out at Schendel Lawn Landscape, Aaron Jones and Brandon Moore, have provided me more than that. When we started and formed Schendel Lawn Landscape 7 years ago, watching them grow that business has brought me inspiration, it's brought me motivation, but more importantly, it's brought me fun. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Brandon. There are a group of professionals in this room, and I mean the bankers and the lawyers and the HR specialists and the accountants. They're the lifeblood of businesses, and they certainly have been important in my business. There's a group that I'd like to recognize tonight. Let me start with my outside accountant for the last 25 years. Kurt Sittenhauer has provided services personally and professionally for us for 25 years. He is more than our tax preparer. He's my advisor. He works on mergers and acquisitions and gives me advice on a myriad of things. Kurt, thank you very much. There's a lot of great bankers in Topeka. Some would say too many, but many that I call personal friends. But there have been two banks very important to me over the last 20 years. The first is Capital City Bank and Bob Kobelman. And the second is Vision Bank with Tim Krieger and Gary Yeager. They took a chance on us when we were growing and trying to buy businesses, and it's worked well for both of us, so thank you very much. Last, but certainly not least, is my faith and belief that all that I am and have and ever hope to be is through God and for His glory. Thank you.
That was a great speech, Brent. Thank you so much. And I do have to say one thing. He mentioned about getting involved with junior achievement, and whether that be writing a check tonight or taking the time to get involved in a classroom. I can say that I did it 2 years ago. I taught the class. I realized that there were a lot of things that I needed to learn. I didn't know about a lot of the basic math and banking things that are kind of, you wouldn't think that someone my age wouldn't know about, but you kind of do learn that. So if anything, do it for the students and do it for yourself as well. You really truly is a rewarding experience. And I promise we're going to get onto this next thing once we get to this page here. Okay, so our next student presenter is Ava Ritter. How awesome does she look tonight? Now, she is in 4th grade, and she is at Randolph Elementary School. So thank you for being here tonight, Ava. And I love your outfit. Where'd you get that?
Thank you. Amy and Kim from Ethan and Anna's Children's Boutique found it for me. They opened up their own business a year ago.
Well, that is very cool. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I have 6 pets. I have 4 dogs, 1 cat, and 1 kitten. And my favorite subjects in school are spelling and math.
Wow, you got a busy life there, but you got to learn how to do good math because you've got so many animals to take care of. Now, did you have junior achievement last year?
I sure did. We learned about our city from Clint Patty at Clayton Wealth Partners. We learned about how businesses and citizens work together to make Topeka great. We love having our volunteer come. Last year, we didn't want him to leave.
So other than him, what was your favorite part about junior achievement?
I like the part about learning to slide the card in the store. I didn't know how it worked before.
Well, don't get to using it too good, because I tell you what, sometimes can't we all attest to sliding that card too much? Now, do you have a piggy bank or a bank account at home?
Yes, I have a bank account. There's a lot of money in there. It's surprising how fast money and birthday cards adds up.
Well, boy, I'm gonna have to get a loan from you. You got that much money in there. Now, as Deborah and Randy are in the business of making money, it sure does add up fast, as they would know, and I'm sure they are happy to hear that. Let's learn a little bit more about them from this video.
Well, everybody has heard that 2 heads are better than 1, but I think Randy and Deborah complement each other so well. They have the same goals in mind, but they approach things in a different manner, and one has strengths that the other one does not. They trust one another to do their jobs, and they have become a very strong team. So I think they invest your money as though it was theirs. I think they look at each portfolio and do what's best for that individual client.
They feel tremendous responsibility for doing what they do and doing it well. and ensuring that others are treated in the manner that they should be treated, and that their resources are well stewarded.
They not only develop their client as working clients, but I think they also develop a friendly relationship with each. And so it's a very personal relationship. And they've kind of grown their business the old-fashioned way. Hard work, loyalty to their customer, education, and just professional service. I think through their hard work and dedication to their business is what has made it grow.
What is so wonderful about the Claytons is that they're so committed to our community. They love Topeka. They want to see it flourish, and everything they've done through their career has been a part of making Topeka a better place to be. They share their professional expertise on boards across the community and in ways that make such a difference. And so I've had the great fortune to be able to serve with Randy on the foundation board at Washburn University. They're also involved with the College Prep Academy of Topeka, which they're very proud of, which focuses on providing an opportunity for low-income students to have the opportunity to have their tuition paid so that they can go to college and attain a degree. And they've been doing that for the last 20 years. I've had the great fortune to serve with Deborah on the Boy Scout board, watch them as they serve in many other capacities in the community, such as with the Topeka Symphony.
A friend asked Deborah to join the Symphony League Board of Directors, which she agreed to do. She could see that that was an important part of the Topeka area to attract businesses. It was one of the jewels in the crown of Topeka. We've just taken off with a lot of the things that she's done. Randy's been on the endowment trustees, and that helped us to smooth out the transfer of the funds from the endowment from the earned income. And he was very beneficial in working with other members of the endowment trustees to bring that about.
They've been a big part of KTWU, our public television station, where they have been the longest running underwriter of KTWU.
They've been very involved in downtown Topeka. The business has been downtown from its inception, and now they're a part of bringing it back and revitalizing it, and their investment has helped make that happen. They got involved in Downtown Topeka Incorporated. Deborah was the board chairman for many years and still is on our board. When I started selling sponsorships of our many events, they were the first I went to, and they became our very first annual sponsor. But not only do they give money in that regard, but they'll volunteer for our events. You might see Randy or Deborah manning one of our barricades at our jazz festival, or emptying trash at a car show. And that's just downtown Topeka. They're involved in the Civic Theater. The United Way is a board that she is on, and the Chamber of Commerce. And so they are involved in so many ways throughout this community and have been a true asset for Topeka.
And they have this ability to come into meetings and to come into groups and be able to just kind of cut through everything and ask the really important questions. And they make a difference in that way. And you know that if they get involved, you're going to feel the impact of their leadership.
When they get involved with something, they make all of us better for just being around them because they give us confidence. And this is what makes it so special, is you get that feeling that they really want to do the things that are going to make Topeka better, be better for the people of Topeka. It just comes through in practically everything that they do.
They do so much together, not just in business, but they love to travel. They are adventurous. They've been all over the world. They've been to places like Southeast Asia. They've been to the Panama Canal, the Arctic, the subarctic. They've been to Iceland, where Deborah almost died. Iran, places that most people have never been to. They're inseparable.
I think they love to be at their home in Breckenridge, which they have made available to several organizations in Topeka as an auction item, and we have raised a lot of money for being able to have that as an auction item.
They also like to garden, and I'm told that they spend a lot of time in their garden, and that's something of great pride to them.
It just astounds me that they have the time to do all of the things that they do. That's why they really have this time management thing down pat.
their gifts and their skills really do complement each other. And together they create this awesome business that people want to be a part of. And when I think of Randy and Deborah, I think of they're exactly what we need and we want in Topeka, not only today, but in the future. And if we could have many more of our Clayton Financial Services or those types of businesses and teams here in Topeka, what an awesome place we will be in the future.
Please welcome Deborah and Randy Clayton.
Thank you for that introduction. And Ava, before you leave tonight, I'd like for you to come back up here and meet some of the people at these tables right here, because I think by the time you have finished school, we may be wanting to hire you as a financial planner, okay? All right, you come back up and meet everybody. So Ava is an example, an excellent example of the information and the skills that JA teaches our youth and our children. Financial literacy, community building, entrepreneurship, these are all subjects that are near and dear to our hearts. And so it's especially gratifying to be recognized for the things that we do by someone who shares the same values that we share. So I'm truly humbled to also be on this stage tonight. The previous laureates, the ones that we have seen on the screen, they have been people that I have respected and admired and never dreamed that I would be on this same stage receiving the award that they had received previously. It is a very gratifying experience, and I appreciate JA for putting together this program tonight, to creating this award, to providing the programming for the children and the youth of the community. They're an invaluable asset to what we are doing around here. To those of you who participated in the video, thank you. Thank you very much. They were very heartwarming remarks. I hope I get to keep them, because on bad nights, they may be a good thing to listen to. So thank you, I appreciate that. You took the time to make the speeches, and that's not easy, as I am experiencing right now. We're also honored by our family and friends who are here tonight. Our sons, one of which had to travel 1,000 miles to get here, brought the most charming granddaughter that you might ever want to see, so just check with me later and I'll be glad to show her to you in person. We have other family members and friends that had other things to do tonight. They came from a distance, they made their presence, and they were here to support us, and I appreciate that very, very much. Thanks to all of you. Our staff, an incredible group of skilled, talented, smart, professional people. And we couldn't do what we do without such smart people. They support us, they support the community in their own ways, and they are always looking for the best thing that they could be doing for the client. So we greatly appreciate they make our life possible, just as Brent was saying about his staff. Hire good people, hire smart people, and let them take off. They can accomplish miracles. And thanks to all of you for coming tonight. I'm sure you had other opportunities to do other things, maybe even just lounge in front of the TV. and it would have been a fine evening. But thank you for getting up, getting dressed, and coming out. And I think it demonstrates what I know about Topeka, that we recognize that we're all intertwined. Tonight we're celebrating business, entrepreneurship, creating something that didn't exist before you came along, whether it's a business or an organization. And that's wonderful. It's obviously near and dear to my heart, but there's more to our community to that. It takes a lot of strands to pull together everything that is needed for a strong community. We have people who are very involved in educating our children from cradle to grave, to making sure we have a skilled workforce for these businesses that are here in town. We have an arts community, a thriving arts community, whether it's the Symphony Civic, maybe we'll have the Jayhawk, TPAC. We have lots of arts entertainment going on in this community. That builds a strong community along with the other strands that come together. We have a lot of people dedicated to building interesting events so that other people will enjoy Topeka, will come to Topeka, build a stronger community, get rid of that low morale thing that we're always fighting. We have festivals, we have events, we have and Activate the River. We're going to make this no-tow through the river downtown an exciting, continuous area to explore and to be part of. We are a compassionate community. We will help out anyone who has had some difficulties in their life and they reach out and they need a little help. This community will step forward. So we have businesses, we have arts, we have compassionate people, we have activities, we know how to have fun. These are the things that make for a strong community. So I look out and I see everything that a lot of other people are doing besides what we laureates are doing. I see what you're doing, and thank you. Thank you very much for all of your contributions. And the final thank you I'd like to do tonight is to my partner, Randy. We have a lot of circular conversations, you know, the kind that start with, well, what were you doing today? And that evolved into community discussions or activity discussions. And not everyone likes circular conversations, but he's actually gotten pretty adept at it. And he'll go with the flow. So we may be problem solving while we are driving down the highway to something totally unrelated, but it's an exciting way to live, and I thank him for being my life partner.
You know, sometimes when you're in the shower, you really don't want to talk business. Or how to save the world. But it is quite an honor being inducted with your wife and your business partner. And successful marriages, like successful partnerships, you have to have a common theme, a common goal, and common values. And I'm extremely fortunate that I married right. My role, since this is junior achievement, and I've been an employee 1 year of my adult life. Now, don't think I'm an entrepreneur. I was just probably unhirable. And I mean, but we started, Deborah and I started an investment advisory firm from nothing, from scratch, and we grew it to one of the largest in Northeast Kansas. But that wasn't our goal, is to grow a large investment advisory firm. Our goal was to be the best financial advisor, the best money manager for our clients. And to tell you the truth, we're terrible marketers. I would hate to make cold calls. I would hate to have, it's that fear of rejection. Someone's going to say, no, I don't want to see you. And this is not going to fit in any of the business books that, gee, you need to be out there, you need to be a go-getter, you need to do that. Well, I'm afraid of that stuff. And Deborah, God bless her, isn't any better than that. So if you have this fear of rejection, how are you going to grow and build a business? So I'll give you the 3 or 4 things. One, you have to always strive to be the best. You have to work hard to be the best. And thankfully, people will recognize that. They'll recognize, yeah, you're doing a great job. You're doing this, you're doing that. The second, Deborah already mentioned, you have to hire the best and the brightest. We have, depending on how you count it, whether you count Deborah or not, is we have 20 to 25% of all the certified financial planners in Topeka. We have MBAs, we have CFA, we have JDs. We have extremely bright and dedicated people, much smarter than we are. But they're committed to the community, and they're really committed to doing what's best for our clients. One thing that separated us early on is we divided giving financial advice from managing money. This is not a business that you can be a jack of all trades and do well. Now, when you start out, you almost have to do that, but the reality is you ultimately have to separate those 2 disciplines because they're 2 separate skill sets, and jack of all trades will not make you rich. Then probably the most controversial thing we did is over a decade ago, the financial services business has this conflict of interest that permeates the field, and that is commissions and golf outings and sales incentives. So we made the decision that we're going to eliminate all that. We will be fee only. We'll eliminate that conflict of interest with the clients. In short term, it's an extremely costly decision to make. In long term, it was the best decision we ever made. Now, we thought we were trendsetters 10 years ago and assumed that the world would change as we changed, but the reality today, less than 1% of all people that call themselves financial advisor or wealth manager or financial planner, less than 1% have eliminated that commission conflict. And because I am terrible at marketing, extreme call reluctance, extreme fear of rejection, we are extremely fortunate that the rest of the community realized that they would rather work with a 1%er. And most of the people in this, not most, sorry, we have many clients in this room that made that decision. We are grateful, and it made us large, and it made you richer. Last but not least, I originally wrote this to say that we're, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, there's always a little bit of fear. There's always this sense of fear, and Deborah made me rewrite that. She said, no, just say, never be complacent. So, God bless you, never be complacent. Always be aware of the trends in the industry and where the market's going to go. I mean, we always have this thing that, what if Amazon gets into your business? How's that going to change your business? All of us have that. What if Amazon becomes the next whatever your business is, whatever market you do? You always need to be thinking and working through that. So, Deborah said many of the thank yous, and I'll wrap it up with one big thank you. We're extremely honored to be here tonight, to be with our friends, our clients, and the people that make Topeka a wonderful place to live. So thank you very much.
Always enjoy the speeches. They're great. Well, please welcome with me to the stage Jacob Gernon. Jacob is a sophomore at Topeka High School. Now, before he attended at Topeka High, he actually attended Topeka Collegiate, and you are looking very dapper this evening.
Thank you. The three of us guys got outfitted at Golden Tuxedo, which is a local business here in town. And I've never worn a tux before, so it really adds to the experience of honoring Mrs. Garlinghouse.
Yeah. And I get the feeling this probably will not be your last tux. Just, you know, it's a trend here. So do you know Susan then?
Yeah. Besides founding the school, I went to from kindergarten to 8th grade. I've known her on a personal level as well. For example, in the 5th grade, she knew I didn't like to read books that much, but she did know that I loved to eat at Olive Garden. So we made a deal. I would read a book, and then she would take me to Olive Garden. That was great on so many levels. First, it motivated me to read, and then second, it allowed me to interact with an adult on a professional level. I did things like open the door for her, or make conversation with her, and other things that will be so important in the near future.
Yeah, and you forgot number 3, which was the breadsticks.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's also a good thing there. So that's great. You know, just so you know, there's a word for that, what you did. It's called chivalry, and it will never grow old. You got to remember that. So, all right. Well, Susan sounds like a very special lady. Now, what do you hope to do in the future? Are you interested in starting your own school?
I'm not sure about that, but I do hope to attend a lot of it. Right now, my plan is to be some sort of doctor, so obviously school is in both my long-term and short-term future.
Yeah, long-term.
Yeah.
That one. So did you have junior achievement while you were at Topeka Collegiate?
Yeah, we only had it for a couple years, so I don't remember the details too well, but I do know that the principles of budgeting are going to be super important to me as I leave high school and enter college.
Yeah, that budget thing, it turns out college costs a few bucks. Yeah, so you want to know that one as well. Well, and maybe it's possible that Susan will end up maybe taking you back to Olive Garden. That's a possibility. Maybe help you plan out that budget so that you can get the schooling paid for and everything that way. It does cost quite a bit to become a doctor, just so you know. Well, let's take a look at the video on this one, and we'll learn a little bit more about this school starting Topeka philanthropist.
I was very lucky because I met Susan early in life at Topeka High School. I was a sophomore at Topeka High when I met her. She was someone who was foundational to me in terms of thinking about what social justice is, what it means to do community service, what it means to be a leader, what it means to fight for women's rights. So I think that in terms of even thinking about what leadership is, Susan was foundational, and not just for me, but for all of us at Topeka High School. And so for me, those early experiences of leadership as a young woman, what it meant to be a leader, what it meant to be a feminist, what it meant to fight for social justice, all really was born in Topeka High School with Susan Garlinghouse.
To think about Susan as an entrepreneur is to redefine what an entrepreneurial spirit would be, precisely to think of it as something that's primarily about connecting people, about maximizing opportunity, about humanizing people. What she stands for is a way of thinking about work, whether it's nonprofit or business work, as about expanding possibilities for a community and not about private gain.
From a business standpoint, I think Susan is very, very savvy, understands business, understands what drives an organization. And she started, along with a number of other people, the Topeka Collegiate School, the Kansas Children's Discovery Center. I mean, your product, if you want to think of it that way, is successful students who are well prepared for their careers, well prepared to go on to college, a thriving, intellectually stimulating service for those students and for our community. And she's very, very focused on that mission of helping children, helping students, growing our community, and helping our community.
So she has had an integral role in these two very successful businesses that focus on the well-being of children. And Topeka Collegiate School has been around for 35 years, and that's a testament to her strong business sense, her ability to put her inspiration into action.
I think it's really her fundamental belief that when it comes to children, nothing's impossible. So if she sees a way to make the world better for children, then she's just going to find a way to do it.
Susan is so unique and so rare in that she truly believes in every single child's ability and in their future.
She has a decency that made people want to act in accordance with their potential and their better selves. So, 17-year-olds tended to not just act like irritating teenagers around her. We tended to feel like we were given an opportunity, an opportunity to act in a more mature way.
But also that she's so well-rounded. She believes in the power of arts and the music, children becoming scientists and journalists and athletes. And so she was able to put all those things together, unlike most people, because she really believed in the power of the child and a well-rounded child for the betterment of our future.
Susan, is involved in not just those enterprises. She's involved in policy, in trying to move the state, really, to advocate for children. Children's issues.
Susan wasn't just content to be a participant in the available structures of activism. She was somebody who was always thinking about new forms of association that could be lasting mechanisms of change. And I think of her as somebody who was both a leader, but someone who was a leader in part because she was really open to listening to a diverse array of people.
Well, I sometimes refer to Susan and Kent as pillars of Topeka. I mean, they are really about making our community better.
I think as most nonprofits would say, if you can find someone that has the time, the talent, or the treasure to help you achieve your mission, you've really struck gold. But with Susan, it's like a gold mine, because she provides her time. She spends countless hours on committees and working with our board. She spends so much of her treasure with her ideas and her reading and always promoting what's best for kids, and also her treasure. She has, put her dollars where she really believes is important. She's the first one to volunteer. She's the first one to show up. She's the last one to leave, and she'll follow through with every commitment she has made.
When Susan's a part of an organization, she's all in. She's direct, she gets to the point. She will always give you the honest answer. She will help you find a way to solve something. It's not always going to be, oh, this is easy. She may tell you it's going to be hard and here's what you have to do, but she's the person you can count on. You can count on her to have your back. You can count on her to help you figure it out and to help you grow.
Because she's an advocate. She's never quits, always takes the initiative, never settles for, is this as good as we can do on behalf of young people?
And it never fails that we get to the end of a committee meeting and Susan will say, okay, now what's next? Now what are we gonna do? Because she has the ideas, but she also wants things to come to reality. Susan came from a family where education was really important. I know her mom was very important in instilling in her a drive to be successful. And her and Kent have just built an amazing life together. And of course they have 5 children, and they've all been raised to embrace the challenges of life and strive to achieve all the dreams that they have. She loves spending time reading. She loves spending time with her family, thinking about her grandchildren. And I know she likes to travel. You mentioned Susan Garlinghouse in our city, and everyone knows who she is, and everyone respects her, and thinks and knows that she will have an idea, put the backing behind the idea, put the finances behind the idea, and it's always going to be centered around what's best for children and families.
She's, again, visionary, she's strategic, and she's really, really capable of bringing a whole group of people together to make the world a better place.
Ladies and gentlemen, Susan Garlinghouse.
Thank you. I am honored and humbled to receive this recognition. Honored because of the outstanding leaders who have been chosen previously, and humbled because I know I represent all of the energies, hopes, and dreams of each of you. My 5 children, now my 21st century advisors, my family, and countless friends impact who I am and what I try to do to make our world a better place. I'd like to recognize my husband, Kent, and 4 of our adult children who are here. Mark and his family live in Singapore, 9,377 miles too far away to be here. Kim, Meg, Brad, and Matt, will you please stand and give a California shout out to everyone? I believe our identity is shaped not only by family and friends, but also by our causes, where and how we choose to share our time. Additionally, of course, we are molded by our environment, our culture, world events, even the books we read. We build meaning into our lives through social engagements, our commitments to our personal and unique causes, and through our life's journeys. There are, of course, many kinds of journeys or voyages. Marcel Proust, best known for his monumental novel In Search of Lost Time, is correct with his comment. The only real voyage consists not only in seeking new landscapes, but in finding new eyes, in seeing the universe through the eyes of another, 100 others, in searching the 100 universes that each of them sees. And we see these 100 universes with new eyes. We begin to broaden our options. We recognize a cause and a focus beyond ourselves. Consider for a moment, in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, George Lucas, in the voice of Qui-Gon Jinn, shares this wisdom with Anakin Skywalker. Always remember your focus. It determines your reality. So the focus of our days defines our lives. How we use our time, how we prioritize our commitments determines everything about who we are, who we will become, what we will accomplish in our days and in our lives, and ultimately what we value most. I have been actively and vitally involved with children and their educational promise for many years. I volunteered for over 25 years in public school education at Avondale West and Topeka High School. My interest in and passion for excellence in education and equal opportunities for all children led to the founding of Topeka Collegiate and later the Kansas Children's Discovery Center. I love it that Topeka Collegiate offers the opportunity for an education that enlightens, encourages, and keeps the bright star of learning and critical thinking alive, while at the same time providing an education that nurtures natural curiosity, cultivates a sense of personal commitment to service, and develops principles of integrity. I love to watch children run into school every morning, but then at the end of the day walk out. I love to watch Discovery Center families learn together through serious fun, and I smile knowing the only tears shed there are upon departure. Both Topeka Collegiate and the Discovery Center offer excellence in education and cultivate the love of lifelong learning. This is the most important gift a child can ever receive. My constant hope is for quality education to be a universal birthright. These 2 inspiring centers of learning help our children to be critical thinkers and as a result learn to be responsible citizens in Topeka, Kansas, and the United States. True to the purpose of junior achievement, Topeka Collegiate and the Discovery Center prepare students to succeed in a global economy with an emphasis on leadership and community service. I think one of our most fundamental responsibilities as citizens is to love and educate not only our own children, but other people's children as well. That includes children we will never meet, who grow up in situations we might prefer to ignore or not even know about. Our children and grandchildren will most certainly live together in a society with children from neglected families, marginalized only if we stand by apathetically and feign allegiance to seemingly more important but short-sighted priorities. We are all aware that businesses thrive best when communities thrive, and communities thrive when our children and all children are educated and grow up into responsible citizenship. So we have to be willing to invest in our children for long-term benefits. If every investment we made into a child's education were to accrue interest similar to a monetary bond, we would find the payouts reaching far beyond any available interest rate. Instead of a one-time payout, these investments would be felt within our Topeka economy and community every year. Quality education is truly an investment in the future of Topeka. Increasingly in the 21st century, what you know is far less important than what you can do with what you know. The interest in and ability to create new knowledge, to solve new problems, is likely the single most important skill that all students must master today. I like to hold on to the belief that what we do matters, even though how and when it may matter, who and what it may impact are not things always known beforehand. We may not, in fact, know them afterward either, but they matter all the same. And I like to remember that what we do matters more than what we say. With this same belief system, what we do matters, corporate citizens more and more search for ways to align self-interest with the larger good of society. Nearly every Fortune 500 company now has a social impact department. Collaborations between for-profits and nonprofits help our children understand that adults in their lives care and care a lot. I'd like to share two proverbs with you. Rabbit tracks and wolf tracks cross in the snow. Timing is everything. And the second, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. My life in Topeka for almost 50 years has allowed me to cross paths and share life with so many wonderful people. And together with all of these extraordinary people, all of you gathered here tonight, we are definitely going far. Together we have made great strides and will continue to do so that our children and all children can continue to learn and grow, so that Topeka can grow and prosper. All the great memories in our life are ultimately just a collection of moments in time. They are fleeting, yet they are precious. This is one of them for me. So find and see new universes through others' eyes. Find your own focus and your own reality. Let's continue to go far together. Timing is everything, and the time is now. The time is always now. Thank you to Junior Achievement for this wonderful evening. Thank you for all of you being here to help us celebrate. Thank you.
It is truly incredible if you think of how many children's lives have been changed because of Susan in just this community. Just another round of applause for her. Now, you're not seeing doubles up here, and this may be a tough one for me because we've got Cesar, right? And we have Jacob over here. Okay, I had to go through that first before we begin here. So these are our next student presenters. They are twin brothers, and identical twin brothers at that. Jacob and Cesar Ledesma. I'm going to have to get this figured out. So tell me, where do you guys go to school at?
We're sixth graders from Lennington Middle School.
Very cool. Now, from what I hear, you are both interested in baseball.
Yes, I'm a pitcher and my brother plays outfield and catcher, but we would love to play professionally.
Well, I think that would be pretty cool, and especially if you went to the Royals. I think Mom and Dad would like that since you'd be not too far away. Now, besides baseball and all that other kind of fun stuff that goes along with it, what are your interests, and I mean beyond social media and girls?
We play Xbox, go outside, and sometimes we fish with our neighbors.
Oh, you like to fish a lot, huh? Yeah. Now, I learned one day on air that the crappie fish is spelled the exact same way as crappie. So I learned that the hard way on air one day. Yeah, you can only imagine the heck Matt Miller gave me for that one. So you just got into middle school, so tell me, what do you like most about it?
Science and world history, but we also liked it when Kansas Commercial went to our school and gave us bracelet erasers and candy.
Ooh, did I hear candy there? Now, besides the candy, what else did you like about your GA class?
We got to Miss class, and we learned how to make a commercial.
Ooh, we might be able to hire you here at KSNT. Anyone in the room out back from there? Now, it sounds like something a business owner would need to know about, of course, knowing all that stuff that you guys learned. But going back to baseball, if you guys don't make it to the big leagues, what's your plan?
Construction is a job that sounds fun for both of us after we finish school.
Well, that is perfect. And to help us learn more about the construction business, let's view this video on Phil Morse.
Dad was always entrepreneurial. Dad always was trying to think of different ways. He wanted to be his own boss. He had a tough time working for anybody else. His work ethic, he was a grinder. Dad will not tell you that he was the smartest person in the room ever, but he read a lot. And if there's a subject, odds are he outstudied you. And then he went out on his own in the mid-70s to start his own company, Phil Morse Homes. And he really enjoyed that. He liked that a lot. Dad built the Woods Condominium Complex and Pheasant Run Complex on the west side of town. He then found commercial real estate, and it just fit with who he is and who he was. Dad and Ken Schmanke got together in '96 and started Kansas Commercial Real Estate.
We were a good pair because I would yin and he would yang, and the correct decision was often in the middle. And I think that was one of the things that I really appreciated about our working relationship. He would come in early and stay late. He would never ask anyone to do anything that he wasn't willing to do himself. And we grew the business so that in the early years, we did it all.
What Ken and Dad didn't like about real estate is that your biggest competitor is normally sitting next to you. What's different about Kansas Commercial is that we're partners. We don't compete with each other. It's so much more fun to work together as a team and come into meetings and say, how do we help this person? And we're able to represent more clients and do a better job and grow the business because we were better as a team, we were more productive as a team, and we had a lot more fun as a team, and it wasn't work. It was fun.
He expected a lot, and we all really wanted to perform to meet his expectations.
And the most important thing in my dad's life was being honest and people knowing he was honest. If you treat people like you want to be treated and you're honest, you'll have a good business if you work hard. And those are the things, the values that he instilled in everybody that were partners with us. And, we're going to work hard, we're going to be honest, we're going to treat people like we want to be treated.
Phil's a gentleman and a scholar. He loved to study and read and find out about things, but he was also someone who really took charge when he felt passionate about something, and he just didn't sit back.
He had a very strong family. He believed in the continuity of family from the earliest time, so he saw himself in that context. Well, he and his wife did some reenacting in the history field. That was the kind of, this passion for history was not just doing research, which he did a great deal of that.
Yeah, the support was there financially and emotionally. Mom worked. There's not a question, they're a team, because when the economy went wrong and 18% interest rates and you're not selling houses, the team's got to make money. So there's not a question. Mom went back to school, was a nurse, worked 6 nights on, 8 nights off at Stormont Vale on the pediatric units.
Certainly being able to watch Phil and his son Mike work together was a pleasure most of the time. They both learned a lot from each other, I think.
I get to work with him for 10 years. He grades papers with my sister. What a lucky guy.
And it kind of represents those two sides of Phil. On the one hand, the business that his son is now operating, and the daughter who's teaching history at Washburn So they're fulfilling two parts of Phil.
For years, he was an avid sailor. I know he liked going on camping and hiking trips with the family.
He also loved a vacation. We took family vacations when Dad would let go. Mom and Dad took me to 36 states by the time I was in 8th grade. Of all 36, we drove to. So we'd always end up traveling to cities that have good growth and good planning. We'd always go look at it and talk about why they did this and why they did that and what made them grow and how we can bring that back to Topeka. Dad was, always said, if you're going to live in a community, if you're going to make your living in that community, you have to give back to that community. Downtown Topeka, Inc. had always been, and the Planning Commission. Dad was on the Planning Commission for 17 or 18 years. He'd be on multiple committees for each and just was fully engaged.
What we see going on downtown now, he was instrumental in getting some of the initial steps put in place to help make that happen.
As he judged the issues that would come before the Planning Commission, it was clear that he had a keen sense of what is best for the community as a whole.
He laid the seeds with so many things. Topeka, City of Topeka did not require landscaping with your development. Most cities had been doing that. Topeka had not. And here was a person embedded in the development community and in that world, standing up and saying, hey, we need to do better, Topeka. We can do better. And that's what you admire and respect the most out of Phil. You look at Menninger's campus, the Clock Tower building, there's two other buildings up there right now. He, as part of the Planning Commission, made sure that when that property got rezoned, that those were protected. There's that bridging of that gap where you've got a hard preservationist view, but then you also have the entrepreneur view of, okay, I want to preserve some, but we need to have some incentives. Incentivize was one of his, I think he created that word. I'd never heard of that word until Phil came up with incentivize. Not knowing exactly what was going to come of some of these ideas, but knowing that in his mind that we had responsibility to the community to protect some of these assets. What he did at the Planning Commission level was far more reaching than any single development that he had his hand in leading.
He went forward and made things happen. That combined with his integrity and his passion for the work he did, and he really was concerned with getting the job done correctly.
And please welcome to the stage the family of Philip Morse. Congratulations.
All right, that one works. So I'm going to put my timer on because everybody who knows me, I'll talk too long. So we're going to solve that and go 2 minutes, and we're not going to go longer because otherwise I could go a long time. So, and following Susan Garlinghouse, thanks. That was great. How do I follow you? That's my partner Ed Eller told me. Oh, good luck with that. So here we are. Thank you. From my mom, from my sister. Stop crying. We're all good. My dad be so fired up. And I've got some notes, but I will wing it a little bit because that's what I do. Dad would be humbled. He would say that he didn't deserve it. He would tell you there's so many more other people that deserve it besides him. But he'd be ecstatic to be in this group. But what Dad was special was his passion. And what's special about Dad was he loved Topeka. He loved Kansas. He was moved to Topeka in the mid-50s. He's a Washburn graduate. He's a Seaman graduate. He was president of the Seaman as a senior, as a freshman. So he's a Topekan, and he loves Kansas. So that's what's great about this. Dad was never the major employer. Dad never had 300 employees. Dad wasn't the major guy. What Dad was somebody who loved Topeka and wanted to give back. And we said it. If you're going to live in a community, And if you're going to make your living in that community, you must give back to that community. And that's Dad's line. And do it correctly. And that's also, if we call them straight arrow Phil. I mean, it's just straight arrow Phil. How is it? Well, is it correct or not? Is it honest or not? Well, then we're going to do it the correct way, aren't we? Yes, sir, we are. I mean, okay, yes, sir, we are. And, you know, those things they pounded into you that are important. And they are important. So, and that's what JA teaches, is be involved and be engaged and work hard and be honest and have passion. And if you do all that, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you build, it doesn't matter anything you do, but if you manage to do those things, every single parent, every single community member would be glad to call you a peer in their community. So I think that's part of who Dad is. Now, so those of you that also have been on the receiving side of my dad's passion, his passion for downtown Topeka. Oh, man, that's 2 minutes. I gotta go faster. Okay, so I apologize. So, Dad's passion for downtown, Dad's passion for creating quality of life. He wanted to create a green bank, to create parks on the west side, because he noticed there were not enough parks on the west side. So kids, they have to play too. How do you make sure? How do you do landscape improvement? How do you make quality development? Dad and I travel. Why does this place look better to you? Why are people living here? Why are people moving here? What can we do? I mean, let's learn from other communities. Why would we not travel and learn and let them teach us? So that's the great thing, is I worked with Dad for 10 years, and you always have those questions coming back at you. What are they doing well? Why can't we do that? We can do that. We can do better than that. We have better people. And we have great people in Topeka. Topeka is the best place in the world to live. How do we do that? So it's fun to be here. It's fun to be up here to recognize for my dad for his passion, for our dad, for husband. We're so grateful. And I want to stay quick, but we were very, very grateful, and very grateful to the community for recognizing Dad, because he wasn't the biggest. So thank you very much. We truly appreciate it. I'm the last one, so we're going to be short. So let's go have some beverages. Let's have some fun. But as one thing is, there was one challenge I know what my dad would want, is that as a parting challenge from Dad, is for everybody to continue to be involved, continue to give back, and continue to make Topeka an even better place to live. Thank you.
Let's thank Matt and Brooke for being our MCs tonight. Didn't they do a great job? We also want to offer our congratulations to our laureates tonight and their families. Let's give them another round of applause. Our laureates serve as great examples to our JA students, and really to all of us. I always tell folks, if you're not inspired after tonight, you weren't paying attention. We can achieve a lot of things in Topeka through hard work, dedication, and commitment to our community.
The flowers on the tables are yours to take home. Our laureates will stay at the tables for a few moments if you would like to congratulate them. Thank you again for attending, and we'll see you next year.